guys, it's Kayla here with a process video for the Scrappery using the TSK kit. I know it's Elena or Elena, I don't know, I guess pronunciation is up to you. And the BPK kit Claire. I've probably used some of Rio as well, I'm not entirely 100% sure in the end. I think I did. I always combine my kits and use them all together anyway, so you'll never see me use just one kit. I like to combine them all. So basically what I did was start off with some white cardstock, and I used the floral paper up the top with a tiny strip of that specialty paper, which is from the Journey line by Crepe Paper. I have this tiny black and white photo of my best friend. It's actually really sick in this photo. I had really bad bilateral tonsillitis and I ended up in hospital that night. But I was really sick, but we still managed a bestie selfie because that's what you do. And my immune system was shot. I just had back surgery and I was so sick. But anyway, back to this layout. I am using, I've run out of my roller tape, I think, so I'm using all this like double-sided tape that I had sitting in my stash, and I'm just adhering down that little piece which I put on wrong, so I had to like peel it up and stick it again. But what I wanted to do was layer in some of this gorgeous Hardy Swap lace. This lace is just stunning, beautiful, beautiful, and it's really good for layering. But I wanted to put a whole strip across the spread. So I've just added, like, I haven't put adhesive close to the bottom edge of that floral paper because I'm actually tucking it up underneath. And this is probably not the easiest way of doing this. It's just that for some reason my brain was having a hard time figuring out how I was going to go about adhering that down, but it worked, so that was fine. That's all that mattered. And what I plan to do was to stitch that down with my sewing machine, which you'll see me do in a minute, just to add that extra bit of texture. So that's what I'm doing. Now every time, I think the video paused and I have to start again because every time I go to get my sewing machine, my son has unthreaded the top of it. Doesn't matter where it's sitting, he is always up there and he pulls out the thread and he like runs it around the house. So anyway, I had to rethread it. It's a quick job but annoying on camera. Maybe when I film I should actually check that my sewing machine is threaded. So I've added just a couple lines of straight stitching to the panels, and then what I decided to do, and this was a total scrapbook fail, but you won't notice unless I tell you, is that I wanted to stitch around the edges of the entire layout. And I ran out of white stitching thread when I got to the end of the third edge. So the top edge is not stitched at all, but it looks totally fine and you can't notice it really. So, but I'm proud of myself that I've actually managed to get through a whole reel of cotton on like just scrapbook layouts. But anyway, the end bit, unfortunately I didn't lay it down a bit and it bunched up as I was sewing it, but it's an imperfection and I don't mind imperfections, they don't bother me really. It's just all part of the creative process. I wanted to use one of the watercolor tags and I pulled in some vellum. I was still just deciding what I was going to do. I just knew that I wanted to build up some layers. Once I get the base of my layout down, that's when I tend to think next about my layering, and I tend to always use some sort of vellum transparency. I like vellum because it softens whatever you're using down, so in this case it softened the layers, and I cut my layers uneven. Like when I say uneven, I mean I cut them with scissors mostly, so they're not perfect. And then when I picked that up I realised I'd cut 2 sheets of vellum without realising it, so I had a second piece which I ended up using, I think. So I laid that raspberry looking Hardy Swap paper from the Wonderlust collection, like some of it was underneath the vellum totally and some was poking out, just so that you could get sort of 2 colour tones from that, because the vellum obviously makes it a lot more of a softer colour. So I'm just adding a few, and then you'll see that I just added in that second piece of vellum, which I'm just going to tape down there on the corner. And I'm sorry, my dog is barking. It's terrible. As soon as we close the curtains at night time, she wants to bark and come in. So, not come, they go in the garage, they're not allowed inside. So now what I decided to do, I placed that leaf there because I knew I was going to create a little cluster there with that. And now I'm using this Heidi Swap mask, which is a really old one, and I'm sure it's called Confetti, I think. It has little dots and stars and hearts and lots of different stuff. And what I wanted to do was use it with some of my new paint that I got while I was on the mainland. It didn't work out perfect, it kind of smudged a bit. I did use some washi tape to stick the stencil down so that it wouldn't move, but I think it would have worked better if I'd used a different, like probably maybe used a proper thing. I mean, I used an old license that my partner had sitting on the bench just to swipe it over, because for some reason I couldn't find my palette when I was filming this video. I found it just after, of course, because that's Murphy's Law. But yeah, I just applied some of the gold paint to the stencil and just rubbed it along just to fill in the holes. Now the thing that sucks about this is if you put too much on like whatever you're using to apply it, you can't really put it back in the bottle. So I mean, that's the good thing about modelling paste, is you can like scrape it off and put it back in the jar, but this one you can't, so it is really expensive. So I was trying to be like very generous, not generous, but like I was trying to make it work across the whole spread with just that little bit that I had put on originally. Now I had some paper towel out to clean up my mess and some baby wipes, I think, because this stuff is really super sticky. I'm hoping my partner yells at my dog in a second because she's being really naughty. It's driving me insane. I should send him a Facebook message, shouldn't I? I should be like, turn the dog off. You watch this, so and then I'll probably get a reply saying, how about you do it? Because that's what he's like. But yeah, anyway, I didn't wait for that to dry because I am super impatient, and especially when I'm filming, because I don't have time. I don't really like pausing and doing it later. When I'm scrapbooking, I like to just sit there and get a page done. So it sort of dried. You'll probably see in the close-ups at the end. Dried a little bit 3D. It was really nice. Had a nice metallic effect. I popped up the photo layers on foam tape and placed it there. And the reason for doing it only on the edges was that I wanted to slip that tag in, which I'm just making sure goes in there. So now I can work on my layers on the left hand corner of that photo. And I really loved these leaves. They're cut out of a Maggie Holmes die cut. So I'm just sticking those on, and I'm pretty sure I used the other one as well in this spread. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just going to pull in. This is like my time to get all of the embellishments out and go crazy. Now, what you're going to see me do next is pull out my watercolors and try and do something ombre on this watercolor tag. So I wasn't sure how I'd go about getting the effect. Like I wasn't sure whether I should use one color and like put like a lot of the pigment and then work my way down to like a water washed effect. But that didn't quite give me what I wanted. So I ended up using a few tones of pink to sort of create a ombre effect and use the water in between to blend them. You'll see a close-up shot of this tag at the end. I haven't journaled on it yet because I need to sit down and work out what I want to say. This is like my super gorgeous best friend, and she would do anything for me, so I want to write a lot about our friendship on there. I wasn't sure about that flower, but pretty sure it doesn't. I'm really not a flowery person. I don't love flowers, certainly not 3D ones. I'm definitely destined to I was destined to have a boy because I like stars and geometric type things, so definitely a boy. These little Teresa Collins chipboards came with the TSK kit, and the Cherish little puffy word sticker was from Claire, and these little glitter hearts as well. So I know that those two were from TSK and BPK, but whether or not... Oh, these Craft Market tiny word stickers are from an older kit. I'm just working some of those in because I have heaps left over and they work with anything. I think there were even some on there about friends. So I added that on the label sticker that I placed on there. And now these came with the TSK kit as well, and I wanted to use this for my title, well, part of my title. So I ended up putting Lovely on the left corner of the photo, and then I finish it up with Lovely Us because, I mean, I look super fat and my head looks giant in this photo, but I love that we can be us. I mean, it's good to have friends that you can just be yourself around, and she's one of those people. So you treasure them. These puffies are definitely from PLK, so they're from the Rio kit, and I just wanted to use one of those gold tipped feathers, and I used some of the gold stars because they were rather neutral and rather cute. So I pulled those in. I was just testing to see if that tag was dry. Those tags are watercolor, like they're watercolor paper, so they do take to a lot of water being put on them. Adding my favourite Black Velvet Colour Shine Mist to create some dots. I know Nays asked me how I get my dots perfect, and honestly, I really don't. I just let, like, I put a fair bit in, like I put the stick thing in the jar and I let a fair bit get on the stick and let it run down to the tip to form like a big droplet, and then I tend to flick it so I get my like smaller splatters. But I do find that if I am working with Hardy Swap Colour Shine, that it does take longer, that little bit longer to dry. I don't know why. It just obviously is a different formula to some of the mists I've worked with. I know that Dilution's mists dry really quick, but they are also really thin. So whereas Colour Shine is quite thick. These chipboard buttons were great, but they were coming away from their backing board quite a bit, so lost their stickiness, so I had to add some glue, but that was fine because I really like gluing stuff down anyway to make sure it has that extra adhesive so it doesn't fall off later down the track. And I have no idea what I'm doing in the background right now. Who knows, la-di-da. Probably, oh, there you go, I was gluing something. What was I gluing? A button? I think I was threading some twine through it because, I don't know, I have a thing about buttons that aren't threaded, like they look unfinished to me. So now this is a struggle and this is really bad because I pack the kits, but you get sequins, and I'm sure it's in TSK that you get these sequins, but they're like gold, black and white, so I scattered a few of them like across and made like a triangular sort of cluster of those gorgeous sequins. I felt like by the time I put the tag in and I had the little leaf cluster and the word, and then I've got the cluster on the right hand side of the photo, it really sort of balances the page. Added some of these butterfly enamels. I found the circles a lot easier to use than the butterflies. The butterflies are something that I wouldn't normally buy, but I thought I'd see how it go. I had to change ink pads there. You might have seen one of my ink pads was dry, and I'm just using a roller stamp, which I think is a Dear Lizzie one, just to add some words there because I wanted to add some more black since I had the black Colour Shine mist, so I thought I should really try and make that work in a bit more. Added another puffy and went back to the word stickers to add some more little bits and pieces here and there. I think, oh, I was covering up because I stamped something wrong, I think. Like really wrong, like, you know, one of those stampers that you're like, oh, I just did that directly onto the layout. So, but there's always a way to fix scrapbook mess ups, I suppose. You can always stick stuff over it. So yeah, I re-stamped it and it was fine. And now I've got some extra cute word stickers on the page, so that's beautiful. Now, I went through my my tiny heart wood veneers, and I added a couple of these burnt wood ones. They're from a really old Studio Calico collection. I would love to buy some more, but I'd have to find out where, if anywhere, still stocks them, because they are really fun to work with. So I think this is just about the finish of the page. I'm going to show, I think I put the tag back in and maybe add a title, I'm not sure. But I really hope you've enjoyed watching the process. Oh, here we go. I'm going to add my title. So these are the Citrus Bliss thickers that come from the Pink Paisley line. And I'm just going to write Lovely Us because I thought that I should incorporate those onto the page, and it gave it an extra little bit of pop of gold. So I think that's it for the page, and I really hope you enjoyed this process, and I can't wait to show you more of what I do with these kits. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!